Alright, so as far as I can tell, and as far as I know, this lady is a hero. This woman, Shelley Luther, refused to close her hair salon in Dallas while there was a shutdown in effect. She received a cease and desist letter and tore it up. Now, this footage of her in court shows her response to the judge, a judge who apparently called her selfish for remaining open. Now, she employs several other hairstylists, each of which earns their keep and maintains an income from their position as a stylist. So calling her selfish is not all that accurate, as her business is providing for far more than just herself. So the judge is in error here as far as that is concerned. But Shelley Luther here basically told the judge that she is not being selfish as well, because she remained open so she could feed her kids. And the hairstylists working in her salon are beginning to go hungry, and they're just trying to feed their kids as well through the employment they have at the salon. So Shelley Luther puts it quite succinctly, I think, when she tells the judge that if you think the law is more important than children being fed, then go ahead with the decision, but that she's not shutting her salon down. Good for her, and she's completely right. Because this is the big problem. The economic destruction occurring now will quickly become far more disastrous, strenuous, and quite possibly deadlier than COVID ever had any hope of being. This is a distinct possibility that most of those within government seem to be completely blind to. It is almost as if they are so far gone on some dizzying power trip that they forgot that trade, production, investment, and employment and productivity are what keeps people alive with the products we need and the sustenance our bodies require. The economy is what puts those things within our grasp. We've just taken it for granted for so long, unless you're a farmer or someone who grows all their own food, which I think is great, but most people don't do that, so they need to remain employed in order to survive. They need to produce and provide for others so they can provide for themselves. It's a win-win, and this judge here is destroying that, thinking he's doing good for the community. Well, much like what Shelley Luther pointed out, the judge is not acting in the community's best interest if part of the community's best interest includes keeping children well-fed and not malnourished and keeping them healthy, which these lockdowns are preventing. Again, it's the short-sighted nature of government. There's an immediate problem here. Let's go way overboard to fix the problem, even though they can't even fix the problem anyway. And let's just completely ignore the fact that COVID is a grain of sand on an entire beach of things that can kill you. They're just completely incapable of stepping outside of their own hype and considering some of the disastrous and lethal, undesirable consequences of their, quote, solution. I feel like that can be said for just about everything that government does. But alright, if that isn't all bad enough, here's the ruling from the judge, in which it says that Luther is sentenced to 7 days in prison, but she can get out before her 7 days are up if she, quote, publicly expresses contrition, end quote. Contrition meaning showing remorse and penitence, so she needs to admit to everyone in public that the government is right, she is wrong, and that it was correct of the government to force her to shut down her salon, thus throwing into question whether her children and her employees' children get to eat. She needs to publicly express this opinion for the government to possibly have mercy on her. Well, how benevolent, because this is nauseating. Basically, what are we going to start doing? Put people through public humiliation? And if it satiates the government's appetite for control, they may swoop in as some compassionate savior? What is this? You need to admit that the government hasn't made a mistake and that you are the lowly citizen and you should grovel at their feet so that you can get your freedom back? This is more or less putting her on her knees and forcing her to kiss the ring of government. It is a disgusting display of power. I mean, I'm done with these people. They are really nothing more than smug, pretentious, arrogant people on a power trip. There's no dignity or honor in that courtroom. I know they like to say that a lot. I know they like to keep reminding themselves of how important and meaningful they are. But her argument about children needing to be fed should have, if that judge was a reasonable person, should have ended it right there. He should have said, oh crap, I hadn't thought of that. That is very serious, and you know what? Children being prevented from possibly eating is not something I want to be responsible for. Case dismissed. Well, that should happen, but what should happen seldom doesn't happen when it comes to government. But good for Shelley Luther here. Lady deserves an award. But that's all for now. Like, subscribe, don't get your hair cut because you could kill people. Take it easy.